Well, we got the smoker going, so you know it's gonna be a good day. I've got about 7 or 8 pounds of yellowtail smoking here, basically one whole side. Let's review how we got here. I was down at the cliffs, I was fishing, I had a little bit of a clown show, lost my GoPro, but my buddy called and offered me a yellowtail, and when I showed up at his house, he actually gave me 2 yellowtail. I filleted those, I shared a whole one with my friends. PSA, that's a really great way to live. You catch fresh fish, share it with your friends, then you're all eating fresh fish. When they catch fish, they'll share it with you. The alternative is we all hoard fish in our freezers and we're all eating nasty, freezer burned, stinky fish all the time. So cultivate community, share your fish. This is where it gets you. Today I'm going to show you my method for smoking fish, and it's basically foolproof. It works with salmon, it works with yellowtail, any kind of a filleted fish, even tuna if you pay attention to the size of the fillets. You want to have fillets that are 1 to 2 inch thick, not more than 2 basically. And then we're going to do a dry brine, which will be equal parts salt and sugar. So I am going to use 2 cups salt, 2 cups sugar. Then we're going to dry brine it for 2 hours in the fridge. Then we're going to rinse it and let it rest for 2 hours in the fridge. And then we're going to smoke it for 2 hours. So that's the method, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Let's get to it. This recipe is so easy. I did say it was the method of 2s. So it's going to be 2 cups of sugar and 2 cups of salt. I'm using fine sea salt for this. And we're going to mix that up until it's an even, nice mixture of salt and sugar. So like that's what we're looking for, just as mixed as we can get it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So what we want to do here is just get a nice even coating of salt onto all this fish. I'm going to just really douse it in this salt mixture. Make sure I'm getting a nice thick coating. And then I'm going to go into a Ziploc bag. And then as I'm filling this bag, I'll usually just throw like another handful of salt in. This is called a dry brine. What this is gonna do is gonna pull moisture out of the fish, and it's gonna drive salt and sweetness back into the fish. And once these are smoked, you can vacuum seal and refreeze them, and they'll last in the freezer for years. I like to marinate it in a bag because you'll end up with, like, it sucks moisture out and it'll all sink to the bottom. And all you have to do is turn the bag over, and now you're getting your brine to flow back over all the fish that's kind of high and dry. And again, just adding lots of salt as I go. All right, so I got all the fish in the bag. I still have a lot of salt and sugar left over. I'm not gonna use it all, but I'm gonna put a very liberal amount. And now what we can do, I've got a lot of salt in there, I've got the bag sealed up, is just shake it up. And so I'm gonna put this in the fridge for 2 hours, and what I'm gonna do is come back every half hour or so and just flip the bag over, and that will keep all the salt and all the juices kind of moving around and making sure I'm getting an even brine on everything. 2 hours in the fridge and let that rest, just turning it over once in a while. These have been sitting in the fridge for 2 hours. I did flip it halfway through, and coming out of the salt, you want it to look really slimy, and you should feel that the surface has hardened up significantly. If it still feels like fresh fish, you need to go longer, you didn't get the salt in there. But this is already feeling kind of almost like jerky. It's really tough. So we're gonna rinse all of that brine off. We want all of that salt off, all sides. And this is how we're now removing the salt, and it will even out in the flesh. Salt will diffuse through the flesh of the meat. And so now I've got a nice clean glossy finish. And we're gonna set this aside to air dry for a minute. So I'm just gonna rinse all these fillets real quick. Each one coming out like that. Look at that, beautiful. Got some belly piece, got some top loin. Okay, so I've got these all rinsed, and what I'm gonna do now is I've got them on a wire rack with a drip dry, and I'm gonna put this back in the fridge for 2 hours. This is a critical step that a lot of people skip, but in those 2 hours, the salt will continue to penetrate the meat and even out, but more importantly, the surface will get dry and tacky. That's called a pellicle, so that's protein seeping out of the meat, and that's what's gonna hold the smoke when we start smoking this fish. So you don't skip the pellicle stage. You can actually have a little bit of wiggle room in your timing on this part. If you go 3 or 4 hours in the fridge, it's okay. I wouldn't probably go more than a day because you're gonna start to really dry your fish out. All right, it's been 3 hours actually in the fridge, and these are looking perfect. So you want them to be dry, but a little bit sticky to the touch. Okay, so our smoker is hot here. The first thing I'm gonna do is I've got this oil saturated paper towel. I'm gonna oil the grates liberally. And then you wanna layer these in so they're not touching. Lots of airspace around them for the smoke to permeate. And I'm gonna put the thickest stuff down the bottom here. The thin stuff can go on the top grate. Here's the top. It's been almost exactly 2 hours. I actually pulled the top layer off a while ago because it's getting really well done. But this is what we're looking for here. And since I oiled the grate, it's not too sticky. Here's our final product, hunk that broke off. Nice, beautiful, juicy, light fish. Just gonna do a little quality control here as it comes off. Gorgeous piece of fish. Flakes apart really nice. Oh man. Oh man. Smoked fish is so good. Such a good way to preserve fish. I cooked a bunch of this fish and it's fine cooked, but this is better. This is better than cooked fish. So how do you guys like to eat your smoked fish? Drop it in the comments. I normally would do it with crackers and maybe some cheese and some vegetables or whatever, some spreads. Or it's really nice, especially fresh off the smoker. You can throw it onto some rice, or it's really nice, crumble it up into a salad. But today I'm gonna make a fish salad sandwich, basically like tuna salad, but with the smoked fish, some homemade sourdough. So let's go. This starts with just some good bread. So we always have this sourdough around. Okay, just the basics here. We're gonna do some mayo, mustard, pickle relish, and chopped red onion. I would normally add salt, but I'm not going to because this fish is very salty. Just mix all that together. And now I'll just go ahead and start crumbling this fish in there. So here's our beautiful smoked fish. Came out really lovely. Look at nice white inside. Give it some time in the fridge to kind of recongeal. And then these kind of cut fillet slices that I had, they will have bones and bloodlines, so I kind of just removed all that off the backside. You can see here, that's where the bloodline was. I'll just crumble all that in and give it a good mix. And actually, these bits here with the smoke, those are the best part. I'm kind of regretting this small bowl, but let's see what we can do. All right, so that's what we're looking for. I like mine to be kind of a smoother kind of pastiness. You can leave it chunky if you want. So this is dead simple. You saw mayo, mustard, relish, onion. The star of the dish is this beautiful smoked fish. And we'll just pile it onto some bread here. Add some nice crisp lettuce. Yeah, buddy. Smoked yellowtail sandwich. That is so good. If you like tuna sandwiches, this is kind of like way less fishy and way smokier. It's lovely because the fish isn't quite as hard as canned tuna. It's got a really nice soft texture, but firm from the smoke and the cure and the salt. The salt level is nice. The mayo helps to kind of balance out that saltiness. This is just a really good way to preserve fish. It's smoked. I've got it vacuum sealed in my freezer, and now I can make these sandwiches for months. So, do you guys like smoked fish? How do you like to take it? What fish do you like to smoke? What do you like to make with it? Drop it in the comments and let me know. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you on the next one.